Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Fire Force, Season 3, Part 2.
Hi, up Fire Force, Season 3, Episode 23. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the dojo. And, well, Age's internet service provider decided it was 1995 again, claiming there was nothing wrong with his internet when he couldn't even be on a Discord voice call, no video, without having like a 900 ping. So we couldn't do anything the last couple weeks. So, yeah.
Yeah, my download wasn't terrible. It was my download was like 50 meg-ish, which, you know, we're paying for gigabyte internet, so that's still a fraction of what it should be, but that's still, like, you know, capable of bare minimum function at least. But my upload was only like freaking 300 kilobytes.
Yeah, but like I said, 1995 called. It wants its upload back. So, luckily for us, the spring season for us was completely borked anyway. So I have a plan on how to remedy the spring season once we finish this set of shows here in the next 2 weeks. We have this week and then next week, and then we'll be done with it. So luckily we didn't have. Luckily this wasn't the summer season. Otherwise it would have been a disaster. But to catch up for summer, my plan is to just do 2 episodes of ReZero and Slime a week, and that's all we're gonna do until we catch up. It's that simple. We didn't have any other shows slated because of the whole JoJo's thing being, you know, 1 episode and see you guys in the fall. So we lost that, and any other show that we could have slotted in there was too core, and we didn't want to do that based on what was going on for the summer season. So we're just going to be in full catch-up mode with Slime and ReZero.
Yeah, like, we are interested in some of the other shows going on. Like, we want to watch Sentenced to be a Hero and stuff like that, but most of that stuff would be too big of a commitment for the fact that we're going to be massively booked when summer rolls around.
Yeah, and we were going to do the One Piece live action, but based on everything that's happened in the last couple weeks with Age's internet, and then why we missed some stuff last month too, I'm just going to go full catch-up mode. So we're just going to do 2 episodes of Slime and ReZero every week until summer season happens. So we'll still be getting 4 things a week, but it's just going to be double features on catch-up mode. So, because otherwise we would be so far behind that it would be kind of pointless. You know what I mean? Because at this point we've lost like 6 weeks. So, yeah. That is what it is, but that's the plan, since there's nothing else we can really do. It would have been nice to do the One Piece live action. We'll probably just watch it on our own time and then maybe like talk about it as like a side thing or whatever. But yeah, that's my plan. We got lucky, you know what I mean? If this was a summer season, I don't know what we would have done. You know what I mean? Probably something similar. We would have just cut out 2 of the other shows and then done them in the fall season with something else. But yeah,
And probably just die doing like 10 recordings a day.
But either way, as for Fire Force, last time we had the non-fights, we talked about that. The Benimar thing, looking back at it, and we talked about it, it was funny as hell, actually, to me, now thinking about it. It's just like, I can't believe you guys think I'm that weak. You think I'm as weak as that guy? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah, once again, you think I'm only planetary level?
Yeah, I can't believe you guys. You guys suck. That's kind of like the whole like Azula thing of like, no, you should fear me more. You know, you don't fear me enough. This is crap. So that was pretty damn funny. But going forward here, we've got a couple other things on the checklist. I'll be weirded out if Excalibur doesn't actually show up. We know Lord Death is in the intro. We've talked about that, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But we got the Helmea stuff and the Abdullah stuff coming up here at the end, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. And then however they choose to wrap the show and like connect it to the Soul Eater verse, because I assume that's going to be a thing. And once again, for anybody who hasn't seen it, the Soul Eater Twitter posted for the first time in like over a year, and it was just the moon, and it said next, so people are wildly speculating that the Soul Eater remake is coming. So I wouldn't be surprised.
The-
There's no
apparently-
reason to not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, apparently the author for both series was also recently made a post talking about how he would very much like to see another project happen.
Yeah.
He didn't stipulate whether or not he was talking about Soul Eater or what, just that he would like to see another one of his works be have an anime project done about it.
Right. So either way, we're gonna push some buttons and get going here. So people on Patreon will see on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube Beyond will see on the other side for the discussion and review. So there goes something. All right, well there you guys have it. After much ado, we had a fairly lengthy discussion about name, image, and likeness stuff at the beginning of the Patreon thing before it got started there. So if you guys want to see that, check out the link in the description. We talked about why you should protect yourself from people using your name, image, and likeness without your permission to profit, and how that's not okay, and you are not a conceited asshole if you demand compensation for people using your shit without permission. And your shit does include your name, image, and likeness, and things like your voice, especially. So, you know, do the right thing. Fight for what's rightfully yours, and these assholes will hopefully stop at some point. So, yeah. Just like copyright stuff, but that's a whole other discussion. But as for Fire Force, as we saw here, Haumea, well, it was literally existentialism, the episode. Let's be real. That's all this episode was. That it was just existentialism, the discussion between Haumea and, you know, freaking the Kusakabes. So that was pretty much it. Haumea has the capability of absorbing other people's powers, apparently. So that's something.
Yeah.
Having Inka's power is a pretty big deal, obviously. But during this whole thing, it was, you know, there's not really much we can talk about. If you've heard one existential debate, you've heard pretty much all of them. In this case, this was just Haumea explaining her side and Shinra explaining his side, and that was pretty much it. You know, it's something that the series has been founded on, and the White Clad have been looking for what they're doing right now, and Shinra has been fighting against that as the savior. So there's not really much we can talk about other than the fact that, you know, I mentioned it at the end of the reaction a little bit, is, you know, if Haumea had nothing to truly fear, she wouldn't be constantly pushing Shinra away, because if she had nothing to fear from Shinra at all, she could literally just stand there and exist like she did at the beginning of the encounter, when she could just completely ignore him. But as mindsets shifted during the discussion, she slowly had to start pushing him away, because as Shinra points out, well, your hair moved. It's like, well, that doesn't matter. As Sho points out, it does matter. So something's obviously changing with reality around here, so it'll be interesting to see what is the breaking point now that, well, once again, the fact that Obi's doppelganger, just full-on Gavin, walked into the room and just kills Obi was so savage. Well, you're not allowed to really show blood on YouTube for whatever reason. YouTube's anti-blood now, even in like animated stuff, so I'm not going to go to that still, because there is a lot of blood, and I'd probably get some kind of stupid takedown notice about blood. But there was a lot of blood in that scene, because obviously, you know, slitting your throat, you know, carotid artery, all that. But the fact that it was just Obi's doppelganger, and he was able to just walk through unopposed, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah, people raised eyebrows at him, at him being there and stuff like that. But once again, the doppelgangers are identical to their real counterparts, apart from their personality.
right, but still, just the most casual, savage hitman walk up of just, no, I'm gonna lose Silent Assassin. I don't care if I do it right in front of Tamaki. Who cares? You know what I mean? Just the guy that gets the most done. Not Benimaru's doppelganger, not Burns, because Burns was just like, F you, I'm taking your body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not Joker's, just, Obi's. But once again, Obi being the pillar of a community and the light of hope, well, that's a big deal if he's taken down. So, yeah, there are definitely some interesting things going on here. I thought for sure Lord Death was going to show up in this complete discussion about death and stuff like that. Like when Haumea was going off about death especially, and she something was popping up behind her. I didn't think it'd be, the Iris twins over there. Now we know what happened with them, obviously. But I thought that was going to be like Lord Death popping up behind her and making his grand entrance or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we still don't fully know what happened with them. We know what Haumea claims happened with them. All we know is that she killed them. She doesn't know. We don't know exactly what actually happened.
Yeah. So, that is what it is. Existentialism at its finest. But Shinra and Sho are making progress. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on that side now that Shinra has completely given into rage, but that rage could lead to what he needs at this moment. You know what I mean? We've seen that before, like the Super Saiyan transformation, that kind of thing. That's like the OG example.
Well, once again, the whole thing is she's deliberately trying to incite his rage, because the whole thing is that she's trying to get all the pillars to embrace their negative aspect. She's despair, he's rage, drawing a blank on what most of the other ones were, like Inko's destruction, so on.
Yeah. But either way, it was a solid episode about existentialism in universe. So that was what it was.
One of the things I was going to point out, though, because you brought up the whole like Iris and Amaterasu thing, Haumea being able to take powers. I don't know if everyone would necessarily notice it because it only happens for a split second, but there is actually, in the same instance where they move her hair, they only notice moving her hair, but there is actually a point where Shinra does manage to actually kick her. But there's a green light and it just kind of phases through her, which I'm assuming is her using Iris's power to cancel him out.
Yeah.
Because once again, Inka's power is just the whole like fate manipulation, preventing fires from actually. She's using it to prevent them from actually hitting her in the first place. Well, she's not using it to prevent them from actually hitting her in the first place, but the whole thing is that at the start of the fight, fate is that they won't be able to defeat her. But as the conversation and the fight continues, fate being fluid, like Sho mentions, it's changing over time to where she's no longer being undefeatable anymore in fate's perspective.
Right.
So she starts having to use the other powers, like the one she's obviously using being Sumire's vibrations. But like I said, there is that brief second there where Shinra should have been able to actually kick her and hurt her, but he just kind of phases through her because of Iris's power.
Right. Yeah, finding that image would be a kind of a supreme effort. Dodge the bloody mess there by a fraction right there. There was just the cut mark on Obi's neck there. Not actually the savagery that happens afterwards, but yeah, that was something that did happen there. So obviously she is capable of using those powers, as pointed out.
Which the main thing that so it seems like the whole thing is just that she can use any of the dead pillars' powers. So she can't use either of the time manipulations because Sho and Shinra are still alive. But the other thing is, we still don't know what Amaterasu's power is.
Right. So, that's still something that's up in the air for the last 2 episodes, which since we're going to be finishing this next week, I'm probably just going to make time to read up to the end this week and see if anything gets left out. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was going to. And again, up to chapter 250, once again, it was very minimal things that were left out. It was just like a couple sequences with Squad 1, like I mentioned. So if they pulled off halfway through the season, I don't see why they haven't pulled off the rest of it. So that'll be something I make time for this week for sure. Since all I really have to do is skim it, and I've gotten very good at just spotting differences in skimming. So, you know, the last time it took me like half an hour.
Once again, the biggest difference so far is just the whole thing of Arthur not being there to save you in the source material.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to talk about that a little bit. So, but speaking of Arthur, Excalibur came back to him as the stinger of this episode. So maybe we'll get Excalibur next time. But I can't fathom them having to pack all of that into the last episode. You know what I mean? So I assume next time is going to be a pretty big deal, Tom. So the one thing I do know is that there is like an epilogue section of this. So I did see a couple clips of that. I'm obviously not going to talk about what I saw. It wasn't that big of a deal. Because once I saw it, I was like, okay, so there's an epilogue, got it. But, you know, I'm not going to say anything about it. So they still have to get that in there. So, assuming that was part of the source material, and that's fine, it'll be interesting to see if that's there, which...
I know there is an epilogue in the source material, but I also know, like, I've heard stuff about this epilogue that apparently some of the there's stuff in this epilogue that is new. That wasn't in the source material epilogue.
Right. Probably to the extent of like bridging the gap between the 2 universes, that kind of thing, for the new world and whatnot. So we'll just have to see. But again, for what this episode was, it did a good job at existentialism, and that's all this really was. You know, it was a heated debate. Take that, debate club.
Like I said in the episode, though, once again, the TLDR to the whole thing is that, yeah, death is an important aspect of life. But it's only an aspect of life. Haumea is only thinking in extremes.
Yep. So, either way, we got 2 episodes to go. We will be wrapping this up next week because of just scheduling and stuff like that, barring, you know, random shenanigans again. But, once again, the plan for the spring season stuff is just ReZero and Slime are going to take over the channel for like 8 weeks until summer. You know what I mean? So, we'll catch up that way. So somehow the universe will find balance in the fact that those are the 2 major shows, and we didn't have anything else anyway because of the whole JoJo's thing. So somehow this will hopefully work out, barring, you know, something else exploding in our face. So there wasn't really a huge amount we could say about this episode. Again, it was just existentialism, the episode, and Obi got 47'd. You know what I mean? That was pretty much it.
Also, everyone else is fucking dead.
Yeah, also everybody else is freaking dead. And Benimaru went out in true Asakusa style, so you got to give him props for that. So,
and once again, the whole thing with their like culture is that they celebrate and make a whole big deal out of death. So, like, obviously, they're going to celebrate and make a whole big deal about end times.
Yep. It's like, we need to get these people to a safe space. It's like, man, the world's burning down. Let's just have some fun in our last moments, okay? Well, let's go out in true Asakusa fashion. So, but we also got left on this. He's going back to Adola, so that is another thing to look for as to what could potentially come of that. So,
yeah, we'll have to see if he like comes to Haumea's aid or whatnot. But we've figured for a while now that he was a being from Adola, because he clearly wasn't human. But yeah, apparently he's finally going back after being stuck in the real world since the last Cataclysm.
Right. Oh, and in case anybody is questioning why there are A's in his eyes, they spell Adola with an A in this, contrary to a lot of popular belief on the internet. It's not Adola like Edola, it's Adola with an A. I've seen a lot of people spell it with an E, and they're fully convinced that they're correct. And it's like, no, it's an A, Adola. So there's another bit of random information for you guys out there. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond how you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was Fire Force Season 3, Episode 23. We'll be wrapping it up next week with the double feature, since we'll be finishing Frieren this week. We'll be diving into the spring season of double features, so hopefully there's not a lot of Subaru rolling around on the ground in this season, because if I get double that, I'm gonna lose my mind. But we'll probably be okay.
Yeah, I've managed to largely stay spoiler-free on ReZero, but like I mentioned before, I do know apparently he's already managed to take a death within like the first couple episodes.
Right. If it's Subaru rolling around on the ground compounded by more meetings and slime, we are so screwed. But either way, I digress. Everybody, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.